Hello everyone, welcome to YouTube. Welcome to Canteen Cup. It's early. I haven't had my coffee yet. My name is Scott, and last night Hurricane Zeta, Tropical Storm Zeta passed by us, and woke up to no power this morning. So how are we coping? Well, we're doing pretty good. That is my internet access. I get it by wideband, and I use an APC to back that up, so we still have a little bit of internet going on. Swinging around here. This is my VHF UHF radio. I have it powered by a deep cycle marine battery. It's one of those Optimas, and so it's a sealed battery. So I've got that going to collect data. So far, the repeaters are quiet. As you can see, I have a headset on. My wife has a headset on. And then what we have going on here is another battery. This battery can be recharged by solar, by car, by regular mains outlet. And then we have a couple of these little LED lights that we put on for light. So it's still dark outside. It's about 7:30 in the morning. It's still dark, but we are coping. As you can see, the dogs have decided to take a little nap waiting for the light to come on. When I designed this house, I've got lots of windows that this house functions very well once the sun comes up. All the bathrooms have windows. We have a lot of windows throughout the house, and so it gets pretty, I won't say really bright, but we don't have any dark spots during the day because of the way all the windows are situated. We will wait and see how power goes. We don't have a generator yet, and of course we're having that discussion this morning. And we may get a little one. We don't have to get a very big one, just one big enough to power our fridge and freezers if need be. But since we've been living out here, the most that our power's been out is maybe for a couple hours. And so we never really consider that to be a major concern. Depending on how long this happens, it may become a concern. So we're doing okay. We have, one of the things that we did is we have propane heat, and so that is my morning cup of coffee going on. And while we can't use the piezoelectric igniters, we can use a match, and we still have gas, so we can cook. And if need be, we can heat the house with this oven. What we do is we start the oven, and then we open the door, and we let it heat the house, and it'll warm the house really nice. All right. Well, that's all I got for today, for right now. Maybe a little bit more later on. Well, I'm back again for part 2. It's now 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which means that our power's been out for approximately 13 to 14 hours. And we had made the command decision to go buy some generators. Yes, I know. Generators was on the list. We just weren't planning on buying them today. Over the past year that we've lived here, the power has only gone out twice, and at the most, the last time it had gone out for was maybe 2 or 3 hours. So we weren't overly concerned. It was on our list. However, given the nature that probably about half the county was without power, and then this afternoon it's still almost half. They restored some power, but not all. We decided to go buy some generators, and a good thing we did. Our commercial freezer was up to 44 degrees, and so I am now running one of our new generators. I'll talk about that in a minute, but we're already down to 32 degrees. This thing cools off fast, and so the freezers are a part of our food storage. We have a lot of meat in here and a lot of stuff, and so it behooves us to be able to protect that meat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cycle through this one, cool it off. I've got another one back there, I'm going to cool it off, and then I'm going to go hit the fridge and cool it off. The generators we bought, and I'll turn this around, are Hondas, and that's it running. It's not very loud at all, but we got the 2200 Companion, and I'll step away from this, but it's a very light generator. I can carry it in one hand, and I'm going to say that my commercial freezer has the highest startup power, and that little generator handled it fine. And so we can alternate through, we can run lights, we can recharge other things, and so we're in good shape as far as that's concerned. We went with the Honda generator, and it is an inverter generator so that we can run electronics off of it. We went with the Honda because they're king of the hill, and yeah, you pay more for them, but there is nothing better than a Honda generator. And you can go on YouTube all you want, and in most cases the Hondas are ranked number 1. The only time they're ranked number 2 is because of the price. But even when they say we rank them number 2, the quality is still COVID is much better. Now we went ahead and got 2 generators, the same type, and then we have what they call a companion cable so that we can hook them both up and run even more power. But that little generator will run my amateur radios. It'll run a lot of the house. Probably if I hook both of them up together, I can run my furnace in the winter. That's got a little over 1 gallon tank. It's supposed to burn for 8 to 10 hours. We won't run it that much. What I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to cycle through my freezers and my refrigerators and do them a couple times, like once now and then once before bed, and then we'll get up in the morning and do it again. I won't run this all night. I have a battery in my house that I can run those LED lights like I showed you earlier, and that's all we need. I don't want to run the generators at night because that kind of attracts attention, maybe attention you don't want. And so I'll run them during the day, and I've got a couple of neighbors out here that are also running generators, so we're doing well. Like I said, we were going to get generators. They have been on our list, just that we weren't going to get them today, and then we made the command decision, and it looks like it was a good decision because we don't know when power is going to come on. And today is Thursday. Just so you know, I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to upload this because I don't have internet right now because my internet runs off of power. I had battery backup, but that's run down. I guess if I really wanted to, I can hook it up to the generator, blah blah blah, but when I get my internet back is when I will go ahead and upload this. So that's all I got. And I did that so that I can cut and paste this and add it on to my other video clips that I'm doing about being without power for more than 24 hours. We've been out of power since yesterday morning, somewhere between 2 and 3 a.m. And like I said before, we had generators on our minds to purchase, but we've been kind of putting it off because we've only had 2 prior power outages, and the longest one was only for a couple hours. So we were saying, well, it's pretty good. However, this time the power's been out. Let's see, it's 10 o'clock, so it's 31, 32 hours now. What we did is we went out yesterday and we bought 2 smaller generators, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But right now I wanted to show you what we're doing. And Both of them are the same. They're both Hondas. They're 2200 watt peak inverter type generators, and I'll talk about it again why we bought inverter type versus the regular type. But that generator is powering my two freezers. I have this commercial freezer, and then that's a standard residential freezer. What's kind of interesting is my commercial freezer, not only does it get colder, but it cools down a lot quicker. It takes this cooler, my commercial cooler, it takes less than 20 minutes to go from room temperature down to about -1, -2 degrees Fahrenheit. My residential freezer, it runs for hours. So that generator right now is basically powering these two, and we've been kind of reorganizing our power as we go about this. This is the first time we've done it in this house, so we've had to kind of think through it. But that one generator right now is powering these two freezers, and it will be able, it can take some more stuff, and I may plug in some of my rechargeable batteries, and we'll talk about that. All right, my other generator, it's the same brand, and it is out front, and it's running right now. It's running our refrigerator, and again, the residential refrigerators, they run for hours when they cool down a little bit. Well, this one might have quit, but we've got our refrigerator cooling down, of course the freezer in the bottom. Also, my wife Mary, say hi. Hi Mary.
Hi Mary.
Her computer is running off of that generator, and our broadband internet is now running off that generator. Plus, we also use this generator to, we're recharging our cell phones and our batteries on it, and we'll kind of swap between them. One of our workhorses for this is this battery right here, and it is a Biennial Power. I think it's like something like 400 watt hours worth of power. It has a cigarette lighter plug. It's got 2 DC outlets. It's got 4 USB outlets, and then along the side it's got an inverter for 2 300 watt AC outlets. We have been using this mainly, and I think I showed it last night, we've been using this mainly to recharge our batteries. Like right now I'm recharging my iPad. I am recharging one of my backup batteries for my cell phone, and it also runs these little LED lights which use almost no power. At night what I do is I take this battery and I put it in our guest bathroom with the light, and it burns all night long. It doesn't even hardly touch the battery on this, and that way my special needs daughter has a night light because her bedroom is right next to the bathroom, and then she can find her way in the dark. For illumination at night, we are using headlamps. This is my wife's. It's a Streamlight Sidewinder, and mine is around here somewhere. It's a Penron, but we're running those. One of the things I discovered in doing this, oh yeah, here's mine. This is my Penron, and it is rechargeable, so I can just recharge that. I'll probably do that later today. One of the things we discovered is we kind of ran short of shorter extension cords, and I had, when I went in my shed and looked, I had 3 100-foot extension cords. I don't need 3 100-foot extension cords, so I took one of my thinner ones and I chopped it up into 1 50-foot and 2 25-foot power cords, and then I can kind of string them through the house. Probably later on today I will hook up our TV so we can either watch shows over the internet, or we can plug in some DVDs. But that generator out front should power all this. All right, and just real quick, I do have power for my amateur radio, and that is a Deep Cycle Optima yellow top battery down there, and I use that to power my radios. I have multiple ways of topping that off. My favorite way is just to get a battery charger, and I can either plug it in to my generator, or when I get power back on, I'll plug it in to the wall and I'll keep that topped off. But that powers all my radios quite well. And I use the generator to recharge it. So I do have power for my radios. There just hasn't been a whole lot of traffic on. Everything is kind of recharging. And by the way, I'm bouncing back and forth a little bit. I can recharge this multiple ways. I can plug it into a cigarette lighter in my vehicle. I can plug it into a 12-volt source. I can plug it into the wall. I have a transformer to plug it into the wall for regular mains power, or I can plug it into my generator. I have solar panels for it, so I can recharge it via solar. Today would not be a good day because it's cloudy, but I have multiple ways of recharging that. Going back over to my Deep Cycle Marine battery, I have multiple ways of recharging that. I can recharge it with my battery charger. I can recharge it with my solar panels. I have a regulator so that I can recharge this via solar with the same solar panels I use for that other battery. Plus I have a battery isolator as part of my ham radio gear that I can plug it into my truck's battery, and that when my truck is running, it'll recharge the truck battery and it'll recharge this battery. So I have multiple ways of getting this topped off too. So that's where we are. That's where we're kind of adapting to everything. One of the designs I had in this house is I made sure it had lots of windows, so that during the day I just lift all the shades up, I open the windows, we get a nice cross breeze, and we have enough light that we can function. It's not like having incandescent light, but it works pretty well. All right, right now in an EMC, an electrical membership co-op, where we have about 51,000 customers. The last time I checked, there's still about 12,000 people without power, us being one of them, which is still better than yesterday when it was over 22,000. So they are working on it, but because we live out in kind of out in the boonies a little bit, we're probably the last ones they're going to get to. So for those of you who are planning on moving out, make sure you have means to take care of your stuff. Like I said in the prior part of this video, our freezers are a part of our food storage program, and we need typically you can leave a freezer unplugged for about a day before it gets too warm in there. And so for those of you that use your freezers, make sure you have some type of backup system. Now, our backup to our backup is, we have generators, and we keep gas on the property so that we can refuel our generators multiple times. These things are pretty efficient when it comes to gas. However, if we really thought this was going to be a prolonged outage, we would, at this point in time, we would start canning our meat. And we have the jars and we have the lids ready and available. So all we would have to do is start the canning process if we thought that this was going to be a power's never coming back on scenario. The other thing we did is that we have gas LPG propane in our house. We have a gas powered water heater, and our stove is also gas powered, so that we can still cook and we can still clean as long as we're getting water from the county. If we have to go to our backup system, we have water stored, and then we can bring water in and we can still heat it up on our stove. So, you know, for those of you that are going to make the transition from city life